Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Before we get started, please click subscribe to my channel to keep up with all of my latest personal finance and investing content. And please check out the link you see on your screen for a message from my sponsor, The Motley Fool, where you can get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
I am joined by Matt Frankel, who's going to answer the question of the day. Is Social Security going to be around for us when we retire? I think we're a pretty similar age. I've got 20 or 30 years before I'm going to retire. Is there going to be money there left for me?
Yes. So this is a big misconception among the younger generations, especially. There are two big Social Security myths that I hear that I'd love to put to bed. One is that Social Security is going to be completely broke and not able to pay benefits by the time you retire. Two is that the government stole all of Social Security's money and there's no money actually in the trust funds today.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard that one. So let's start with, is there going to be Social Security left by the time I retire? So the short answer is, at the current rate, no. At the current projections, the Social Security trust funds, which have trillions of dollars in them, are going to start running big deficits and are going to be out of money by 2034.
And deficits just mean the money that's being paid to retirees today is going to be less than the money coming in from those of us who are working. Is that right?
And the problem is the baby boomer generation, which is massive, is hitting retirement age. And now there are fewer workers paying into the system compared to the number of people getting it. And that gap is expected to grow. So over time, there will be more money flowing out of Social Security than flowing in. That's pretty clear at this point. And the latest projections are by 2034, the balance will hit zero. The reserves of Social Security will be gone. When that happens, and this is the part that people are missing, people who are working like you and I are still going to be paying Social Security tax. So there will be some money coming in. It's just that the reserves are gone. So all of the money that they'll have to pay out is current Social Security tax, which should cover about 70% of benefits. So under a worst case scenario, you will still get about 70% of what you would normally get from Social Security when you retire.
So if we think about this as a personal expense and income statement and then a savings account, this would be like you have $10,000 in savings. You're spending $1,000 more per year than you're making. So you can do that for 10 years, but eventually you're forced to figure out a way to either make more money or cut your expenses by $1,000. Is that kind of the right way to think about it? There's a solution. It's just you have to actually do the solution.
Right. And the good way to think about that is that gives you 10 years to figure out what you're going to do to right the ship. So the good news is that we have until 2034. Sooner would be better, but we have until 2034 to figure out how to fix Social Security. And there are clear ways to do it. It's just a matter of getting people to agree on what the best way is.
Things
raising
like
Social Security
raising
taxes,
the retirement age, reducing benefits, increasing taxes. This is a math problem, to just kind of put it bluntly.
It's a math problem that's being complicated by political problems, because on the right, the general consensus is we need to spend less. Generally, anything on the right is we need to spend less. So their ideas are raise the retirement age, like you said, which kind of makes sense in a way because people are living longer lives. At the time Social Security started, people weren't living nearly as long as they are now. There's talk of raising the full retirement age from 67 to 68 or even 70.
Yeah, it was literally Social Security, not 30 years of retirement planning.
Right. It was, okay,
originally,
in the last 10 years of your life, we're going to give you some income.
Yeah,
originally that was the idea. But the program has evolved and it's a good one. So it's worth saving. Pretty much everyone agrees that it's worth saving. So the other side of it, and this is popular on the political left, is raising revenue, which means raising Social Security taxes. There's a few ways you could do that. You could do an across-the-board tax increase, which isn't popular. You could raise Social Security tax on high earners, which actually does have some political traction. There are a few other things you can do to help right the ship. So no one's talking about cutting benefits to current beneficiaries. That's one thing to point out. All these changes would be phased in over time. Pretty much every tax proposal I've heard would would be phased in over a number of years. So there's a lot that still can be done, but Social Security is not in the best long-term financial shape. Like you said, it's like if you had $10,000 in the bank, you're making $1,000, but you're spending $2,000 every month.
And is the way to think about this that Social Security will be there in 20 or 30 years when I'm that age, but maybe it just won't look quite the same, and maybe we shouldn't think about relying on it in the same way that maybe people 10 or 20 or 30 years ago did?
Yeah, it's pretty much a fact that in 20, 30 years, Social Security will look substantially differently than it does today. It's not sustainable at the current rate, at current payouts and current tax rates and things like that. Something is going to have to change. The question is what, but for the most part, I'd give it well over a 95% chance that Social Security will still be around when you and I reach retirement age. It may look substantially different. Maybe our full retirement age is going to be 70. I hope not, but maybe it will be. But it will be there in one form or another.
All right. Well, I agree. Social Security will be there when we all retire. It's just a matter of what it looks like. And you've gone through kind of the basic math that, there's just simply some changes that are going to be made, whether that's on the income or the revenue or the expense side. So we'll see how that plays out. But don't worry, there will be something there for everybody. Well, you can find my work at the Rive Project on YouTube. Matt, where can we find you?
I am on YouTube at Matt Frankel CFP and on Twitter at Matt Frankel CFP.
All right. Well, thank you for answering these questions, and we will see you back here again next time.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.